This is a new attempt for a video where I see if I can find players on Season 9 that are interested in showing their builds. And this will be no scripted, we have done some preparation, and I'm here with Bas.
Hello guys.
And we're just having a talk, Bas is showing his build, and yeah, so let's just get into it. And it's gonna be questions and just having a dialogue and yeah, see how it goes. So let's just start by yeah, for how long have you played Ascension and what is your Ascension story?
Right, so mainly I started playing from Season 3. I started from there. We did the old school CG and leveling with the hard rolling on abilities, the wall leveling, which was really fun. And then Season 4, Season 5 we were going for like some hardcore raiding. Some Season 5 and 6 I took a little break, and 7 was our champion year.
What is champion year?
Basically that was the season where we went for all those server first runs, and we basically almost have everything.
And that wasn't with the CGM guild, that was the other one?
That was with the other one. Like I had a couple of guilds. It was mostly always the guild master in there. We have a core group, which is still running from like 7 years ago.
Oh.
And yeah, we've been playing a lot. We really enjoyed it. And Season 7 was our. We took all the server first. We took basically from Molten Core till.
And you're playing with any of the guys still, or?
Yes. So most of the core group that we have right now is still playing.
Yeah. Oh, and for anyone wondering, this is currently my raid leader for the guild I'm raiding in, and we're having a ton of fun. Beforehand, when you did all of that server first and stuff, did you also play healer back then, or?
Yes. So I've been a healer my whole life, basically, for World of Warcraft and Ascension from retail as well. Basically from Wrath of the Lich King original till now, I've been playing healer mostly.
So your build right now is like a combination of basically everything holy healer from what I've seen, but I probably guess that a lot of other people who want to get into holy healer wants to learn what you have been cooking up from basically the start of the season.
Yes. So my current healing build is a Prayer of Presesevation Holy Light variant.
Yeah.
This build basically just goes nuts on the holy scaling of healing, and it allows you to do insane amounts in very short periods. Like you have the Prayer of Presesevation, which is mainly used for big incoming damage during the fights, and off healing with Circle of Healing, Holy Shock, Holy Light, and having all the modifiers for it actually allows it to go bananas, because with the Holy Healer you often play with Beacon of Light on the main tank or off tank, depends on who you are beaconing. It allows for so much passive throughput of healing, it can go pretty wild.
And you also have some single target healing, or how does it works for your build?
Yeah, so single target healing is mostly Holy Light into instant Flash of Lights from Surge of Light, the talent with Prayer of Mending and Holy Shocks. Using Surge of Light with some other talents, which basically increases your holy throughput. So if you type in Holy Light, you can see in my build that most of it that I can get is here. So using Light's Grace is increasing the holy cast time, it increases the throughput, and Light's Grace is something you can use in combination with like Prayer of Presesevation to even cast even faster. So those kind of talents, just raw throughput and increases, allows you to do some big numbers. Like the healing average on Holy Light is 3.6k on average, unbuffed, but buffed up and flasked up it can go to 4.5k and higher.
The legendaries for your build, you have some key legendaries.
Yes.
If you can talk about those.
Alright, so like I said, this is a Prayer of Presesevation build, which is obviously rotates around Prayer of Presesevation and having the other REs for it. So you're gonna need some other stuff to actually increase the power of Prayer of Presesevation. So in the Presesevation itself, you're gonna need the one where you can increase the healing done with Presesevation itself, and basically the boosting abilities for Prayer. So what I found out is during this season, like some of the REs you basically never really used before in other seasons was Blessing of the Divines. This one is so powerful this season, like it provides so much healing, it provides a passive boost to your party members, it provides a passive boost to you, to yourself, like free haste, free mana regen, everything that you can get is in here.
Yeah, because that was a legendary in itself beforehand, right?
Exactly, you could not combine it with anything else. But now it is basically free to use in any healing build, and it's just a must-get for me, for every healing build I will do. Holy Supernova is basically a pumped of Holy Nova on a cooldown. But in this season where you can actually combine every legendary you want, you can actually make some crazy combinations with it. So Holy Supernova with the other talent, Supernova Salvation, is insane for dispelling and decursing the raid group in a second. So, for example, a good example here is the Magmadar fight in Molten Core, where on Mythic and higher you get the curses. You can instantly dispel the whole group with one push of a button.
And there's also the Baron Geddon fight, where people normally get mana burn, but that is also just dispelled.
Exactly, just instantly dispelled for the whole raid. Like it's for 10 people, it will target, of course. But we mostly focus on 10-man raiding anyway, so this is perfectly fit in.
Yeah. What are some of the? I can see you have other legendaries. What are the roles of the other legendaries that you have?
So we have Blink for mobility. Then Circle of Life is basically a boosted up Halo, which also leaves a hot on the target with skills with Holy Power.
Is that a Holy Nova ability?
Yes, it scales with Holy Nova. So as soon as you roll this into like Life Circle as well and other stuff, then you can actually start ramping down your Halo CDs very fast. So having, for example, Life Circle into Circle of Life with 2 Halos is just really powerful output and throughput of healing.
And that is mostly for holy healers because of Life Circles.
Yes, because using a Life Circle that your Flash Heal and Greater Heal reduces the CD. And also healing, Prayer of Mending and Circle of Healing, which is basically your core rotation for this healing build, reduces the CD of Halo, Holy Supernova combined. So every time you cast one of your core abilities, it actually reduces the cooldown of Holy Supernova, Circle of Life. Next, we basically have the Prayer of Presesevation and Oracle of the Eclipse that I recently picked up. Oracle of the Eclipse just basically allows you to either put out a really powerful Riptide or a Holy Shock. Well, since I'm a Holy Healer, I use Holy Shock and it allows you to heal 5 people in a second for 3.5k. It is an emergency button basically. So when either something goes bad, you screw up a mechanic, you have to emergency heal, you press this button, you press the Holy Shock, you're good. And then we have Growing Light, which basically is just free throughput healing on the beacon tank, which allows you to also heal the targets near the main tank with Holy Healing. And then Holy Ground is something you barely use, but only on stacked up mechanics. So for example, Goal Mech, where the healing output needs to be very high, you put down the Holy Ground, you get a 5% free healing. And you also radiate healing to other party members in the group. And that is basically legendary run.
And which of the legendaries would you say are the most important, or which legendaries would you recommend others to card if they were to trying out or see if they have the cards for it?
If they were trying out this build, I would purely focus on getting everything for the Prayer of Presesevation.
And that is the Prayer of Presesevation and the Presesevation, those 2 talents, or are there others?
There are others in there which are basically required to make it pop off. So Preserving Light, and there are 2 other rare talents you can roll for this. Preserving Light is basically that allows you to consume preservation stacks on targets, which allows you to put down on the AoE shield for 3 seconds to get less AoE damage. And it also passively heals all the targets nearby.
So would the build work without it?
It will, but it will not be as powerful if you haven't carded. Like, you don't need this, but it is really just a core mechanic of Prayer Preservation, basically. Like, if you played anything at all in healing-wise and you ran Prayer Preservation in previous seasons, you know you're gonna need stuff like this. Then, of course, you need Prayer Preservation itself. This allows you to increase your critical healing done on targets. It also allows it synergizes with recovering prayer. So when you consume a stack on a player, you radiate healing. The target gets reduced AoE damage, and you reduce the cooldown of your prayer Presesevation by 3 seconds.
Is that for each target hit, or is that just only 3 seconds?
That's for each target hit.
Oh, okay. So those are some very strong talents for it.
Yes, just this alone, with some other holy talents, like basic holy talents, for example, Sheet of Light, Holy Guidance, Light's Grace, and Empowered Healing. Just allow, and maybe Divine Aegis and Divine Provinces as well. This allows you just to scale off the charts with Holy Power.
Then you would say that you basically cut these 3 talents for the build to just have the core, if you're able to.
If you're able to, you should, because the build that I'm playing, this pop build is just basically finished right now, relies on the Prayer Presesevation core. So having this, like finding those abilities in this season is just stupidly hard because of the many abilities and talents that you can roll. And having this ready for playing just eases a lot into playing the build itself.
What other talent would you else be combining with it? Those 3 abilities, the prayer preservations. Was that just the Sheet of Light and stuff like that, or are there other options?
Yeah, I would at least suggest, if you have the slots for it, try to roll in Blessing of the Divines. If you have the possibility for it.
Yeah,
like this one alone to card it, because this one alone also provides so much utility and mana regen for your build, etc., for the party as well. It just allows so much throughput for the group itself.
How would I card the build? First of all, it's hard to say because I haven't tested or played the build, so it's hard to say what would you need when you're missing any of the abilities that he doesn't have. But of course, if you're carding legendary abilities, these are gonna get harder to like roll, so it would be more beneficial to roll them. This is the Prayer of Preservation package with the Holy Supernova, both of the halos. Circle of Life is a halo modifier, and then for talent, the 3 Prayer of Preservation modifiers, the Blessing of the Divines. This doesn't really benefit you like a need to have talent and modify how the build plays, so this is purely, as he says, just purely output. And then we have the Supernova Salvation, one of the best utilities you can have as a holy healer, and then combining the 2 halo abilities with the Light of Life talent for more halo healing. And then you could be looking for all of the beacon modifiers as a second option. Then you will just replace the non-Prayer of Preservation modifiers and card these instead. And of course you would need to card the Beacon of Light talent instead of any of these, probably instead of the halo. For abilities, the other good option you could be carding is the Oracle of the Eclipse, so it will be more beneficial to use the Holy Shock and get the Holy Shock modifiers to pump out some big burst. And I know this ability is batshit crazy from my Riptide healer, it does so much healing. And the last option could also be just carding Supernova Salvation with the Pulsing Supernova, so you get the reduced cooldown, and just card any of the 1 out of 1 talent. If you've seen my 2 previous videos, I am a big advocate right now before chapter 2 to be carding 1 out of 1 talents, because I still feel if you're hitting any talent that has more ranks like 3 out of 3 or 5 out of 5, in the end, if you just hit any of the ranks, it will be more easier to roll them compared to the 1 out of 1. So I am an advocate to just card the 1 out of 1 talent, especially the ones with a lot of upsides that change the playstyle of the build. You are using the Tamed Dragonkin pet, so what abilities would you recommend starting with? Is just
for starting abilities for playing this build, I would suggest it really depends on your playstyle basically, because I'm like I like to spam my abilities. I love to just cast whatever I want without running into mana problems. But what I used is the green whelp for the 3% of healing if you manage to get
yeah, I can see
it
used it right now, the rejuvenation on itself, I think, on your pet.
Yes,
on yourself.
It's just an free reju healing on the group. Like, it's a powerful heal until like next it will fall off, but early on it's really powerful because it's just on free rejuvenation on 5 people on a 15-second cooldown.
And then you're also using the talent for it?
Yes, so if you manage to roll it, the Draconic Knowledge, For right now, I'm using the green version of it, so it increases your healing power by your dragon intellect. And but later on, because then the regen will fall, basically the power scaling will wander off. I will swap to the red dragon for the critical strike.
Yeah, and the crit also benefits the Sheet of Light and Divine Aegis.
Yes, so critting with the build allows you to put on shields on targets as well.
Yeah. Are there other benefits to being crit for the build, or is that the only two?
It is mostly for Divine Aegis and Sheet of Light proccing, but critting with this build also allows just more throughput, because if you're mainly critting with the build allows you to put on shields on targets as well.
Yeah. Are there other benefits to being crit for the build, or is that the only two?
It is mostly for Divine Aegis and Sheet of Light proccing. But critting with this build also allows just more throughput, because if you're mainly crit and int base, which I am basically for my build, it's just free crit and the mana increases a lot if you're going the int route. So I'm basically on 468 intellect right now, mixed with spirit, which just allows for free mana regen. It allows for a lot of spell critical power and just more base healing increase.
Yeah. What is your mana per second sitting at, so people have an idea?
My mana per second is basically sitting at 422.
And how much investment are you using in the mana gain per second while in combat? You have some talents for it?
Yes, so I'm using Dream State, which is basically one of the best talents you can get early on if you're having mana problems. So I'm running 2 out of 3 Dream State. I haven't managed to roll 3 out of 3 for the mana regen. And then also talent RE-wise, I'm using 3 out of 3. So if you're going in-based, you should try and get the Dream State in. If you're running out of mana problems, then you can swap this for something else.
And what other talents are you using to get your spirit while in combat? I can see you have meditation, arcane meditation.
Yes, so some abilities in here, this just increases your intellect by a raw percentage, which also just increases your healing throughput. So taking stuff like arcane mind, some like spiritual focus, stuff like that, and divine intellect, for example, are just such powerful base scaling abilities that you're going to need in your build to increase throughput.
Yeah, so the rest of the talents you're filling out with the intellect scaling and spirit scaling?
Yes, so like using Student of the Mind, using Divine Intellect, using Arcane Mind, and then other stuff that basically scales with Spirit and mana regen, just raw healing power, basically.
And can you go over the choices of your Mystic Enchant? We were talking about the Dream State, but what are the other reasons of the choices?
So the main reason for using these REs is basically just raw throughput. So using Divine Providence is just 6% free healing on your core abilities. Healing Light is just raw increasing of your other abilities that you use in your build. Healing Prayers, which I'm using, is to reduce the mana cost of Prayer of Mending, Prayer of Healing, which Prayer of Healing is the scaling power for Presesevation. So everything that you use with healing, Prayer of Healing skills with your Prayer of Presesevation. Then Sanctified Light, just free crit chance on your core abilities again, Celestial Focus for a free 2% haste, and then the Holy Power for the critical effect chance of your holy spells.
And what tier set are you rocking with now? We are currently in tier 1, so Molten Core has been out for a long time.
Good question. I've been using the Dungeon Healing set from Mythic Plus. So this allows you, which is actually one of the most powerful healing sets you can actually get. Next to probably tier 3. Before that, this one will just rock your boots off with the healing throughput, because you get a free 5% healing done, and every damage or kind of CC you take allows to put a shield on your party members. So 10 people will get a shield that scales with holy power. So the more holy power or more holy healing you have, the shield increases in its percentage and total shield absorption.
Yeah, and I've seen the numbers on this shield. This is actually insane how much it's healing.
Yes, so so basically this allows you to cheese a whole mechanic if you can intentionally get CC'd yourself. So for example, if you're doing, let's say you're pulling the trash mobs in Molten Core like the big giants, Those usually do a stomp on the ground and allows you to get knocked down. That counts as a CC on you. That allows you to put down the shield on everyone, so everyone gets at least a 4,000 absorption shield, which allows you to fully negate the next stomp. That way you can actually just time it, and you can use this to your advantage in certain mechanics to cheese big damage numbers coming from the encounter.
Alright, sweet. And what are the... I can see you're only using the 6 set. What are the braces and legs you're using to supplement the set?
So basically I'm using the other mythic off pieces just to increase raw spell power and MP5.
And are you
So
gonna swap to any new set when Blackwing Lair is released?
If they have any chance to changing some of the stuff, I might, because I'm considering of going for the full tier 2 of Transcendence, which allows you to cast Hot on the target when you are directly healing them. But I don't see how this is gonna outscale the free absorption shield by the dungeon set. I have to test it and I have to crunch the numbers to see if it is worth doing it.
It makes sense. And what about weapons? Are there new weapons to look for, or is it just Mythic Plus? I don't know what weapon you're using right now.
I'm using the Mage Blade for crit stacking.
Crit stacking, makes sense.
Yeah. So the one thing to look out for healers with Blackwing Lair coming up, that is one trinket you're gonna need. And that is the Reju Gem from the 3 Drakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it on the screen so you can see it.
Yeah, that one is so insane for every healing build. It on season 7 it did like 15% of my healing done during an encounter. Like it just allows so much throughput. And if you're just spamming like Prayer Presesevation, if you're spamming HOTS for example, if you're using some kind of Riptide Oracle build or whatever, it is so much throughput just passively sitting there. It's insane.
And then for other trinkets, you're currently just using Spell Power Trinket?
Yeah, so I'm using the Brian Wood Reed, which is just a raw spell power, and then the Asa Charm of Healing from Sugurup.
And that is to... How come you're using unused trinket?
So that unused trinket is basically for free healing power and mana reduction cost of healing abilities. But this one will probably going to be switched to the Reju Gem.
Okay. Can you explain about the utilities and your choices of your abilities for your builds?
Of course. So basically every healer, every healing build is going to need a Dispel, it's going to need a Cleanse or something else that allows dispelling on targets. So I'm using Purify for example. And I also have the Dispel Curse. So that is basically the main, you need it in your main toolkit for healers. Like not having this is not that bad because most of the encounters you will do are basically just tank and spank fights, which where the bosses will just die before they get out of control with dots or curses, for example. Then some other utility, like I said before, is using Blink. I actually want Demonic Leap though, because Demonic Leap allows for more movability.
Oh yeah.
But I rolled Blink and I thought I'm not going to roll this off. It's probably never going to happen to see if I get Demonic Leap, for example. Then I also have some cooldowns, of course. So you're going to have Tremor, which is your fear cancellation, which is like really important for Magmadar if you're going on trials with that, or just in general. Negating the fear is really important in other fights as well. Then I also already have a Master Spell for the Burning Crusade for way later on. For some fights, the Master Spell is going to be crucial. For example, in Karasan, you're going to need it. Serpentine Cavern, you're going to need it. There's just some fights where Master Spells comes in really handy to just have it there, which allows you to cheese some of the mechanics. And then, of course, also have PI, Power Infusion, which is just raw casting speed. And usually I put this on either you or I put it on another team member in the raid to just push some more numbers.
So if the healing is falling behind in a tight situation, you have some extra haste.
Some extra power just to sitting there. And then, of course, since I'm a troll, I'm using Berserking for free cast speed as well. So this is my second PI, basically. I have Mana Tide Totem, and I'm using Life Tap for Mana Regen.
Yeah. And how would you say you're? I mean, we can see it on the clips. So, are there any situations where you have mana issues right now in raiding?
Not as of right now. Like as soon as my build started coming together, I never really had mana issues. Even on Ragnaros, in the sun's phases, I can just keep spamming and my mana will basically never drop below 40 or 50%.
So are there any talents you could see yourself replacing or changing in the future when we get later into either Classic or TBC?
Later on, I would start replacing Dream State and other abilities that just does the mana regen for you. Because I think most people will have some core utility in their builds as well. For example, someone will probably have Spellblade or something that just increases your mana replenishment in the group. And stuff like that, like melee builds, hybrid builds, sorry, will most likely run Spellblade. And having that in your group just allows for so much passive mana regen as well. Like, you are not going to need life tap on Mana Titan.
So I can see we have some of your talents. You still haven't talked about the 1 out of 1 talents. Are there any of those that are impactful, if that makes sense? The 1 out of 1 non-legendary.
Yes, there are some talents in there just that basically increases the raw throughput of your healing abilities. For example, I'm using Graceful Prayer with 2 out of 2 Grace. This is a really powerful combination because Grace actually increases healing done on the target for 9%, which lasts for 12 seconds, which is really overpowered if you're running Prayer of Presesevation and you manage to roll Graceful Prayer, sorry. Which allows Prayer of Healing, which again is Prayer of Presesevation, to put Grace on targets. So everyone in your group will always have 3 out of 3 Grace on them applied, so you'll always have a 9% healing increase on every target in your group. There's some really powerful combinations in here. So I'm using Light of Life as well for my Halos, which allows to put, when you cast it, you also put a hot on the target, which scales with Holy Power during a heavy damage encounter for Golemek, for example, which you'll probably see in the clips. Allows you to do a lot of AoE passive healing with just 2 buttons you're pressing. And therefore you're some kind of a hot healer as well, but not really. But you can put out hots if you want to.
Then I think, basically my last question, unless there's something else, how would the perfect build be if you could just choose the last talent and the last abilities?
Yeah, so if I were able to free pick the last abilities, I would definitely look into some Dawn abilities. So Light of Dawn is also really powerful to get, and having Second Sunrise in there with Dawning Light is just some powerful passive AoE increases. So Second Sunrise allows your Light of Dawn ability cooldown to be reduced. But you need Light of Dawn, of course, for that one. But Light of Dawn is a really powerful instant heal button if you can manage to get. I haven't managed to get it yet, but if you get like Light of Dawn into Second Sunrise with some Dawning Light in there, like you have so much instant abilities with so much healing throughput. It basically allows you to do a free top off on the whole raid with 3 buttons, basically, which is just crazy.
So that would also be something you're gonna be looking into for TBC when we have more talent points.
Yes. When TBC is rolling out, I will be using the other abilities to either get Light of Dawn. That one is basically a must for me to get in there. And maybe with Second Sunrise as well, just the free cooldown reduction on your Light of Dawn is just, yeah, with the famous Second Sunrise, you were able to stack them up in the previous season to 4 stacks, which allows you to do a Light of Dawn for like 8k on 4 people in 1 second.
That's a nice way. Is it smart healing to?
Yes, it is smart healing. So
injured allies, yeah.
Yeah, so of course Light of Dawn is a cone ability, so it will do a frontal cone, but they increase the range on it. Previously it was like 10 to 15 yards, but they increased it to 30 yards, and it is smart healing. So it always goes on the target who has the less health.
Alright, and then Avenging Crusader, Avenging Wrath, what is it called? The Paladin. Whenever
yes,
we have
so
that is insane. Yeah.
Also, that one is just really powerful. I haven't been able to roll it yet because I'm using Divine Illumination in here, which is basically the same but a bit more.
Oh, they don't stack?
You can stack them, but I would, if you're like doing Ascendance rating or raid trials, you should not put them on together because there's so much damage output going on. You need to synergize your cooldowns with the fight that's going on.
Ah, yeah, so you use one, then wait for it to run out, and you use the second one for the next damage phase.
Yes, because you need the constant throughput of your healing power, basically, to shine through, because otherwise the damage output of the fight is just gonna wreck the group.
And I saw that you don't have any of the 5 out of 5 crit talents. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, because rolling 5 out of 5 crit talents is really annoying and hard. I have some in here that basically is just that I managed to get through playing the game a lot. So I have 5 out of 5 Spiritual Guidance, which is just free healing power based on Spirit. Spiritual Healing for 10% healing increase of your holy spells. And then I also recently rolled my 5 out of 5 Twin Disciplines, which is 5% free healing done on holy spells and 5% free crit. Having these is extra. It is really good, but you don't need it in your core. Like, you will of course lose some percentage of healing, like no doubt about that. But rolling the core build for this build is basically, like I said, the pop, the Presesevation abilities before, and then talents like mainly is going to be Sheet of Light with Divine Aegis and maybe Serendipity you want to roll in as well.
And so, but the 5 out of 5 crit talents, you could be looking out for them when you're starting the build to just fill out.
Yes, if you manage to get them, great, you keep them, but they are not necessary.
Alright, I think that is the question I had. Do you have anything to add about the build, or?
Yes, just a quick little tip. Rolling a build in this season can be quite intoxicating and annoying, but I stick with this. I stick with this build since day one, and after like maybe a month of just daily playing for 2 or 3 hours, if you have the time for it, or maybe just swipe the call board, I don't know. You will be able to get the build which you want. So stick with the one build you have in mind and keep playing it.
That is some very inspiring words, not gonna lie. That damn, that's
I learned the hard way, man.
Yeah. But we knew, and you just kept increasing your healing out there throughout the raids, and just got more talents and did more and more healing.
Yep.
So it works for sure. I think that was it. Thank you so much for wanting to do this interview, and I'm gonna see if I can get a good picture of the talents, and I can get them in the description or something to people to share.
Yeah, feel free to share it. Like I don't mind.
But all right, thanks a lot for coming, and
yeah, no problem, man. Happy to do it.
I hope you enjoyed this type of collab build guide, especially in a season like this with so much RNG like this one right now. If this video is positive received, I might do another one in the future. So give it a like if this is something you want to see it again. And yeah, these videos take a lot of effort to edit. So if you stuck it to the end of the video, thanks a lot for being here. And now we're doing the giveaway. The giveaway first for the last video. We're going to pick a winner. And it was 350 Bazaar tokens. And that is also what you can win in this video. And again, these Bazaar tokens are donated. It is not my own. So thanks a lot for donating these. And yeah, let's pick a winner. Sem 6149. Hey HeyTrix, thanks for the info on rolling a warrior build. I might use the B tokens for Stone of Retreat to help with the world bosses. Yep. Nice. Thanks a lot, man. I'm gonna pursue the warrior style more when I have the time. I'm definitely gonna pursue the warrior SMF build and can't wait to explore it and trying to roll it, even though it's gonna be a hard build to roll. So thanks a lot, Jeb, for commenting. And for this video's giveaway, it's again 350 Bazaar tokens that was donated. And again, I'm not requiring you to like or subscribe, but it's very appreciated. And for this comment, I would actually really like to hear what you guys think about Chapter 2, what you are expecting or what do you think are coming. And let's get some raw data on what people's opinion are about what you really want to see changed, and we can see if some of the wishes come true. And also remember to put your in-game name so I can actually find you to get the tokens. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching and stick it to the end. It means a lot to me. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.